Ooh, get these glasses right. Oh yeah. That 11-11. Oh yeah, that 11-11. You already know. I ain't gonna miss this 11-11. You know I ain't gonna miss the 11-11. You know we not finna miss the 11-11. Matter of fact, let me go KTL on y'all. You know we not gonna miss this 11-11. Yeah, wherever you at. Yeah, we do. We do YouTube, yes. On money, pad me on, yeah. Don't miss the portal. Make sure you get some of it in. Don't miss none of the portal. Family, tap into the resonant frequency of the planet, right? Unify. It's a global quantum unification for this particular incantation, invocation, if you will. When you meditate, lock the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth so you can create a microcosmic orbit and you can hit those quantum nodal points, right? And amplify your resonance. They said just a few seconds of humming can reduce the nitric acid in your body. You know what I'm saying? These are yeah, the sun is going. The sun is going. These are all medicinal properties. The sun has been exploding on your behalf. And hopefully you've been able to catch some of what the sun's been giving. The sun has been giving, y'all. Let's make no mistake about it. There's something going on. Let's make no mistake about it. Please. Like, you know what they propagate as peace? I've never been to a Roman. I ain't never been to Catholic church and heard them hums and them hymns and them tones and felt at peace in my heart. I've never felt connected to the universe by hearing a church procession of them playing hymns. Maybe when I was in the Baptist church and they got the singing, right? They've been hitting them tones and I've been able to resonate with it. But I have never in my lifetime been to one of those Gothic Catholic church ceremonies and they're hitting the hymns, not the hums, but the hymns. And I'm like, oh, I feel so much closer to God. I feel connected. I feel, it's giving oneness. Never. Maybe it's just me, right? I don't know. Maybe it's this and that, Snoop. But shout out to Snoop. Shout out to Snoop. Shout out to his family too, right? Yeah.
Nah, it ain't just you. It's me too.
It's you too?
It's just it's me too. I
I,
thought I was the only one.
I thought I thought I was by myself
Whole
because
time,
niggas be going back. I'll be like,
whole time, everybody felt like that.
everybody felt like that. That was a
Everybody felt
universal
like that.
declaration.
Crazy.
Whereas when I hear this, it is so enriching, right? And then I'm saying that there's things that you can add on to it and layer it, such as tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, such as grounding, um, just such as sitting with the right posture, right? So that resonance and that incantation can hit the base of your spine and loop through the coccyx and come back up the spinal column, and you really could be in it. Literally raising the Christum, literally participating in what's considered to be Christ consciousness, really tapping in.
Really.
And without the fluff, without the mistranslations or interpretations, I don't need nobody to tell me nothing. Just show me how to do what needs to be done for me to become a direct vessel. Boop. I'll have the direct experience. Then I could come and give you the direct download. And
Right.
then we can talk direct about real shit on this planet, not the make believe stuff.
That
So
part.
I put a image up earlier. Shout out to my brother Richie Moon. I was in his stories and I saw it. And you know, shout out to AI, shout out to art, right? Shout out to the faculty of art, because you could be attempting to explain something to somebody forever and a day,
Right.
and now you're able to prompt these things, and AI give you visual support, and I got one of my braids coming through. They give you visual support. If you get it up my
Being
pocket.
alive, the braid is like, yo, yo, twin. Put
Nah,
me
it
in
was the
alive, twin.
resonance. It was the resonance, right?
Put me in alive, twin.
It was the 11:11. My shit was like, hold on.
Right.
Let me
Them fucking them hymns brought them coils out.
the hymns. I
Them
went
bitches
straight
are
Naga.
standing
I
up.
went I
Them
went Naga
bitches are
on y'all
standing.
and
Look, them bitches did the fucking. They start twerking through the do rag. You not eat the twerking through the do rag.
and this what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the immediacy of divinity, right? Like divinity should be instantaneous. Like if you were in flow state, anybody that's in flow state, no, it's an immediate thing. You're locked into it. And it's the unexplainable explainable. It's like, yo, get into it. You know what I'm saying? And then in real time, you don't have to over explain yourself to people because the demonstration speaks for itself. But yeah, this nine ether coil, you know what I mean, wanted to operate, and the resonance had it spiraling, and it spiraled right through the do-rag.
Straight
It
up.
was like, yeah, let me talk that talk while y'all talking.
Yeah, be like, let me get in here. Let me get some of this.
So Richie Moon had a visual up, and the visual was of Caesar Borgia. You know what I'm
Caesar,
saying?
Caesar.
And I've just been attempting to explain it. I mean, in the because it wasn't explained to me like that. I had to go and figure this shit out on my own, and then get mad at my master teachers because I'm like, y'all been hooping and hollering, but y'all just ain't explain it like this.
You know what we call him? Caesar Bourgeois,
What y'all call them?
Max B.
Max B.
Max B.
Why he got the wave?
You know he got the way.
Hold on, man.
You know he got the way.
He got the wave, right?
He got Christian Rock, man.
He got the wave, so I'm hating because he really got the wave, and I'm up here.
Wait, he got Christian in him, man. Max
He got,
B.
he got
Max
Chris Sean.
Bourgeois. Maximus Bourgeois.
Ooh, right, yeah, he got the
Ooh.
wave.
Yeah, he got all of the he got ooh, he got all the oohs. He got the shooters, he got the trappers, you know what I'm saying? He got all of the trap rappers. You know what I mean? He got all of the drill rappers. They all down with Max B, nigga.
They all down with Max B. Caesar boards, yeah, nigga. White Jesus, nigga.
White
Jesus piece,
Jesus.
nigga. So I said that's the first AI, right? It's the first piece of meme magic, artificial imagery that conquered the
Mm.
world, right? It's a meme that keeps on giving, and
Demons.
it has out magic everybody else's magic, and you got to show me different before you try to tell me. You got to show me different. Don't talk me to death. Show me how your magic is out magic and this magic, because they put the whole world in the spell with an image. So this is memonic magic. This is the shit that later on memes become, and they figure out a hyperstition. But the first piece of hyperstition is Caesar Borgia as Jesus.
Ooh, facts. That's a
And I
so that's
dare
what
nigga to try to prove me different.
that's a
At
similar.
this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my critical degree. I'm about to hit my birthday in a few days. So I dare nigga to.
I heard about that. Talk about it.
I shout out to Richie Moon. He just taps in. So Richie Moon, I was saying that I was going through your stories earlier, and I came across the Caesar Borgia, um,
Was it an AI picture?
the art piece. You know, somebody prompted an amazing piece of propaganda, and I was able to get my narrative off because you see it so simple, and they left out pieces. Pope Alexander VI passes the Inca Terra, which is called the Doctrine of Discovery in 1493. Now, this is after the Moors fall, and not just the Moors, right? Not just the Moors, the Jews of Spain, specifically, which are the Sephardic Jews, which gained their identity in the Iberian Peninsula,
Right.
right? Of which I've been also coming across all of these documents in the last few days that speak to the ethnicity of them. And I dare nigga, do not try to talk me down for my ethno supremacy talk, right? It's important. We cannot leave these descriptions out of these narratives. If you
Facts.
want to even give it some truthfulness, let's talk truth, right? We know what a Spanish Jew is. I even know what the gematria number of this shit is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I see it in numerical symbolism, I know how to identify it. The number is 140.
Mm.
We know what it is.
When we see it.
The illest shit ever is that Fuentes is a name that comes from Spain around the time of the occupation of the Spanish Jews. So this nigga is derived from Spanish Jews hating on Sephardic, Ashkenazis.
Naturally. Because that they got cleansed by them.
They got cleansed by them, right?
Cleansing that took place that they gave us in school, the lesson that they were giving all of us in school about the cleansing of a people was a specific ethnic group of those people. They left that part out. And they forgot to mention, and they did not tell you what made those distinctions so different. So you'd be able to see it when you saw it, right? So the Fuentes aspect, Zimmerman is also a Spanish Jew.
Yes, absolutely.
These figures feature prominently in the timeline throughout history. When the people, when so I want people to think about that archetype, and then begin to match that with people that y'all know personally in your life. George Zimmerman and Nick Fuentes, right? The temperaments, the archetype. What do they represent? You know what I mean? They'll play up. They'll camouflage and chameleon themselves into cultures, but you know who they really are. They work for the Jesuits. They are the quote unquote. Those would be like the version. Those are the soldiers. Those are the wooden soldiers of the Jesuits. Crash outs, right? Always trying to be down and will sabotage, disrupt, and be the buffer to anything that the Moors got going on. You feel me?
And
And they're always worried about what you're doing with their women.
always
We would call them ancestral incels,
ancestral incels.
to the point where they'll cut their Johnson off. You know what I'm saying? And become eunuchs for the to become a Vatican assassin to carry out that bloodlust that they have against the virility of the Moor. That's why they'll kill the bull.
Absolutely, yes. That's what the killing of the bull ritual in Spain was about. Them executing or neutralizing the Moors. What they call is fungibility.
Hmm.
I know I'm jacking the word up, but
Right. So the Groypers and all of them are incels. They're also self-avowed virgins, right? And their whole thing about not being soiled or holding their virginity it's an aspect of their fragility.
thank
It's
you.
an aspect that goes all the way back into the Francis Cress Welsing ISIS papers, and then thus it goes back into Spain. It goes back into this great replacement theory. It goes back. It always leads back to them and their inferiority complex as to them being the have-nots when they're standing in front of a mirror and knowing that it all boils down to the first law of self-preservation,
Right.
and they literally got outchose
Yeah,
by somebody.
the women is choosy.
They women is super choosy, and they got outchose by a group of individuals with stronger genes, stronger quote unquote DNA. You know what I'm talking about?
And a stronger wave than that.
And a
Shout out to
stronger
Beth.
bop, nigga. A stronger bop, nigga. Yeah, talk about it. Yeah, nigga.
Right?
Yeah, wavy,
Max
nigga.
B to Jim Jones, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Compare Max B and Jomo, nigga. Yeah, for references.
For
Yeah,
cultural
nigga.
references,
Yeah,
nigga.
for references, nigga.
If you can't put a picture to it
Yeah, yeah.
for
Put Silver
cultural
Surfer next to
references.
the Penguin, nigga. Yeah, Oz Cobb next to the Silver Surfer. That's what you're looking at.
Yeah, nigga.
So it's been up ever since then. The whole conversation with those people on that side, it all deals with genetics. It all deals with sex at the end of the deal. They're just masking it, but there's an obsession with the phallus, y'all. You know what I'm
Y'all.
saying? There's an obsession with the melanin, y'all. There's an obsession with the spirit, you know what I mean? That they don't have. So they're creating artificial intelligence and try to embody it so the intelligence could be the big nigga on the block. That's why Frankenstein is coming out on Netflix. They
Oh,
are the quote unquote, they're carrying out another phase of Prometheus. Henceforth, you see the flame right there. So go and Google the Promethean myth. Go and Google Prometheus as it relates to computers. Go and Google Prometheus as it relates to Silicon Valley. Go and Google Prometheus as it relates to Satanists, and you'll understand who you're dealing with. And when we say the word Satanist, don't get all offended. It's just a mentality that they've adapted to where they rather be the prince of darkness than to be a slave to the black god, because they already know what's on the other side and they don't want to be a slave. They don't want to be a concubine. They don't want to be a slave and whatnot. So they'd rather be the prince of darkness. They'd rather be a king in hell than a slave in heaven. Go and Google paradise of hell. That's their Bible. That's
Lost
their Bible.
Paradise.
Huh?
Talking about Lost Paradise.
Lost Paradise, right? That's their Bible. And they Atlas Shrugged, Lost Paradise, they swear by that tome. They swear by that quote unquote ethos, right? They are the transgressors. They get closer to God the more they transgress. You don't. We are not the same. So there's a conflict of interest. You could never be, you know what I'm saying? We could never there could never be peace. We could never be the same. We could never be on the same frequency. We could never be the same channel that you're watching. You know what I'm talking about? We do God-like things. They do demon-like things. They do devilish things. They do devilish men. And people that look like us do it too because we've been assimilated. And we were
Yeah.
told to become like them.
So right. So when I speak about the illest magic on the planet is a image, an artificial image of white Jesus is the illest magic that has trumped all other forms of magic, right? And again, we can run the receipts. And please don't bring Haiti as an example, because I'm gonna unpack that shit, right? Because they can't get back white Jesus, right? You push them people out, but you still have a bootleg system in order to get in contact with your ancestors. You have to still do it through those particular means and mechanisms. And if not, then why is that shit still around,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and it's the brain and the tongue, which is connected to the brain for the most part, and as well as the eyes. So when you see yourself, you don't love yourself because you convinced that in order to be created in the image of your creator, you have to have the brand. And the brand for you is the inverse, which is the lack of melanin, as opposed to being melanin rich, which is your cosmic covenant.
Ew.
It gives you the connection, right? Without you having to ask or be taught what the tenets or the mandates are. Go outside, nigga,
Facts.
right?
It ain't in
Go
the book.
outside and connect with the planet and connect with the cosmos, and you are the fulcrum. You're the conduit between those extremes, which makes you the steward. You're the conduit, which makes you the steward. That gives you dominion, not domination. You're looking at something totally different, and you don't know what you're looking at. So we got to keep beating it into your brain, into your mind, right? You're looking at domination by way of Christendom that is utilizing the illest magic on the planet, which is an artificial image. They just had to tweak the tonality. They just had to tweak the aperture, nigga,
Tweak it a little bit.
and they got the whole planet in the fucking in the chokehold.
Right.
And they cannot come from underneath words in black and white and a black and white in the first color image
Mm.
of an artificial intercessor. This artificial image of divinity got the whole world fucked up to this day. So Caesar Borgia, well, his daddy, Pope Alexander VI, creates the doctrine of discovery. Hence the fact that they keep talking about them discovering something is
Right.
tied to the doctrine of discovery, which is the first and only piece of international law on record, right? It's the first piece of international law that's standing. It is the battery that operates, that white supremacy operates from.
Right.
Right. And it still
The
stands.
motherboard.
It's the motherboard. Regardless of what Pope Francis attempted to do, the church came right behind him and said, he's only speaking for himself, right? Because Pope Francis, after we prompted him to say, the only, what did we say? The only thing that you can do is denounce or renunciate the doctrine of discovery. That's the only redemption, because he attempted to go to Canada on July 25th, which is the day at a time of the Mayan calendar, and make redress with the indigenous population of this particular plane, not this
Right.
planet, but this hemisphere. And he apologized for the doctrine of discovery. The church came and said he's speaking for himself, but I thought he was the Pope. How
Right.
can the Pope speak
Big
for himself and he's the Godhead. He's the pontiff. How is
Right.
he not pontificating for the station that he belonged in? And ever since then, it was persona non grata. They was like, oh, we got to get him up out of here,
He was
right?
out from that day on.
He was the op. So we'll see what Pope Leo does. But the 1493 Doctrine of Discovery refers to Pope Alexander VI's papal bull to enter Katera, which granted Spain the exclusive rights to lands in the Americas not already inhabited by Christians. This doctrine served as a religious and legal justification. Religious and legal.
Together.
Religious and legal. It's the first piece of
Together.
international law,
Hmm.
and it still stands to this day on record. And the U.S. utilizes this for its dominance and its hegemony as a colonial power, right? Because they're saying that if the indigenous peoples of this land, whether that's FBAs or whether that is the people that are on the plains, or whether that is the people in Mesoamerica, or whether that's the people in Canada, or whether that's the people in
The
all the way in the
Caribbean.
south in goddamn Chile and
Right.
in the Patmos Islands, right? If they do not recognize Caesar Borgia
As
as
the head.
Jesus Christ, as the quote unquote the rightful heir to the throne of the Father himself, they're allowed to take your shit
Right.
and claim it for the crown and the cross, right? This doctrine served as a religious and legal justification for European colonization, claiming that Christian nations had the right to conquer, claim, and exploit territories inhabited by non Christians. It became a foundational principle for European and later U.S. law, enabling the seizure of indigenous lands and the subjugation of indigenous people. So to this day, as I attempt to help people that want to get redress or reparations, right? That's where you have to look at. Why don't you countersue with a class action lawsuit all indigenous societies going for the church? Because the Roman Catholic Church is the reason that the foot was put on you. Now they have you believe that it's the Protestants and oh, it's the niggas that we sent over here for so they could practice their religion freely.
Right.
They're spinning you. Just like they're spinning you. They got you believing that it's the Christian right and it's evangelical. The Supreme Court is made up of Catholics.
Mm. Mm.
So bro, they're running such a illmatic shell game
Oh man, it's crazy.
with identity politics with people that don't know left from right. They have no idea who the players are. And while they're coming into the information now, that shit has already been remixed and layered with so many what they call they have these like the heritage, so many of these different foundations, think tanks, and things of that nature.
Right.
Bro,
Right. From Turning Point on.
from the Ziglags group, right? So these is billionaire think tanks
Right.
that nobody knows about, right? And they giving up big bread
Big bread.
to create narratives, right? And our people either they have no idea about it or just finding out. The organization Ziglag is the name of a secretive, wealthy Christian right organization that funds groups associated with Christian nationalism and conservative political activism in the U.S. It shares its name with an ancient biblical city, right? Funding and activities, Ziglag, which uses the official tax name USA Transform, has been identified as a major funder of election integrity initiatives led by activists like Cleta Mitchell. These initiatives have been criticized by voting rights experts for promoting unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud. So, again, when you seen the infighting, right, the
Right.
Heritage Foundation, right, this gives you everything you have to dig, dig up all this information, and niggas are still clueless. It's an abomination. It's downright sorry, right? And again, I mean, I don't know because we're not having a lot of these conversations in the community just to see the BS. How can the Heritage Foundation be critical of its president, right? Who's a man named Kevin Roberts, right? And he's the one that got roasted for Project 2025 initially because they
Right.
showed their hands. So Heritage Foundation kind of got pushed out of the fold of the forming of this new admin because they was too toxic because they let the cat out the bag, even though they took Russell Vault.
Right.
My thing is this: look at the hypocrisy. How could JD Vance and them sit up there, right, and co-sign the young Republicans that was in the text group,
Right.
saying all they were saying,
They
right?
they buried that story though.
Did all of them came out as gropers? They even if you bury the story, I'm just speaking about tabletop tennis narrative. Like anyone attempting to push back to say this is hypocrisy. How can y'all say that? Because Heritage Foundation is saying that the face of conservative right movement has to be non-racist, non-sexist. Not, so it's all platitudes. They can tell y'all whatever. They just using words.
Just
They're
work.
weaponizing words as swords, as shields, and the sword behind that. You feel me? Is here comes the pain. It's what you don't see, and then they come swinging that sword and off with your head, right?
Right.
If you dare turn, if you dare turn your neck, if you dare don't pay attention to the BS, right? Then they're gonna get you back in the wave, right? And they got and and then they got a whole civil war now where they're coming for the melanated conservative tokens, right? And the only thing that happens to a token is it gets spent. So they're like, now that we have this overt, now that we have permission to be overt with our racism, because Fuentes ain't going nowhere, and neither is the conversation around it,
Right.
right? Where he's pressing the line to say, y'all got to tap in and co-sign and become one of us, because we'll never become one of y'all, right? Or it's no 2028. And the more that I'm reading into young wasps or young white boys of privilege who feel that they have privilege. Oh no, their mandate is they cannot no longer fake the funk. That's their mandate now.
Right. They gotta wear that shit.
They gotta wear it in
They
public.
can't
They
be
have to. They
crypto.
gotta come outside with it. There's no
Yeah, they can't
fronting
be
no more.
crypto.
They said that's the old generation. That's the old guard. They're like we're not them no more. You know what I'm saying? We gotta wear it outside. We gotta wear it on our sleeve, and niggas gotta grin and bear it, or else. So it's a very interesting place this society seems to be set in. And why should you
Some
care? Because you niggas is waiting for handouts from these very same people
niggas is getting
who are
washed. What the
spitting
fuck
in
you
your
talking about?
face
Why should you care?
and
Like
knocking
niggas
you out
something. Come on, bro.
while you come with your hat in your hand and tapping your chin and putting it on camera screaming World Star. That's why you should care. Because they're obviously showing you when the system becomes eroded and infected by this parasitical energy, how it can directly affect, quote unquote, the average regular person on the block, on the street.
They're literally, you saw what happened with the Sudan where they starved them people out and then bodied them and slaughtered them for the whole world to see.
Yeah, I did.
That is exactly what is taking place in this Hunger's game. This early stage of starving these people out. They was, you know, literally through policy, literally through quote unquote the equivalent of what you saw those armies doing in a militaristic way. They're doing that through policy now, starving people out, holding people under siege and whatnot. We should already know that. Should already know what, you know. At the end of the day, information and knowing thy enemy and knowing being able to demystify and being able to unpack and being able to see this shit for what it is, because like I said, like Blue said, and like we all saying, This is a high level propaganda campaign right now. This is a psyop. This channel, Candace Owens is the #1 podcast in the world. Ever since CK's situation, the far right has dominated the quote unquote timelines, has dominated the conversation. They have quote unquote, when they were over there before, they're more than just in the middle now. So the conversation it's a frontline conversation. And if you're scared, just say
Yeah.
that.
I mean, today is Veterans Day, you know, and we are identifying our people are trapped in a soft war. You know what I'm saying? And this war is for different. It's a propaganda war. It's a psyops war, but it definitely has real world consequences. And those real world consequences, even if you feel it may not necessarily directly impact you, it's all impact. It's gonna fall and impact, everyone potentially, right? Because there's a trajectory to it.
Right.
So it needs to be discussed. It needs to be observed. And if for nothing else, people want help with some of their talking points. You know what I mean? They're getting washed at the water cooler, uh, and getting gaslit.
Right.
You feel
And
me? And mhm.
to make matters worse, Blue, there's a mental crisis. There's a mental crisis epidemic, right, taking place in the world, but most importantly, America, and then even most importantly, Black America, right? I landed in New York on Saturday. I landed in Newark, New Jersey on Saturday. I traveled to Penn. I traveled to Port Authority, and then I moved through Herald Square, and I went into the wholesale district, which is the Flatiron district. The vagabonds, the degenerates, and the dregs of society all were our people. And everywhere that I was at was tourists from around the world, from the airport to Port Authority and from everywhere. So everywhere where the world is congregating, the fucking bums, the vagabonds, the niggas with their pants down, the niggas that look like useless eaters, the niggas that look like they should not be a part of the equation because they are the wrong ones in the equation. They in the whole equation, even with people who were there who I know come from a place where they committed skinocide. Even those people look clean compared to how our people are looking right now.
Right.
So the condition, the mental high. So if you are falling apart, if the black man is navigating through this matrix where there's a culture war, there's a chemical war, there's a biological war, there's a quote unquote image war, there's a spiritual war, there's an economic war, and these niggas is navigating. They not silver surfing. They moving through this maze with their heads cut off, and they look crazy and people that are doing their due diligence by turning the lights on, by standing on the front lines, by keeping the flame lit, by burning the midnight oil, by having the audacity to stand up for these niggas with no legs.
All
We
right.
got work to do. So you better understand and study what's going on this playing field. How dare you sit down and play chess and you ain't even read the instructions and you got the audacity to be like, why should we read the instructions?
Calm down.
You know what I'm
I would ask again,
saying?
frame it and put it in perspective. Once again, today is Veterans Day, right?
Yes.
And in comparison of what you're speaking of, because there's a lot of homeless veterans, there's a lot of people who have served, there's a lot of people whose mentals are not right because, they're not even they're not able to reconcile why they served, who they served, or what they served. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then they come home and there's nobody serving them. Um, and then, you just saw the economic situation that is still taking place. And you know what I'm saying? The government doesn't really have preference for the people who uphold it per se. It's workers, it's soldiers, You know what I'm saying? It's frontline, whatever, right? And we know that it's a corporation, so it's soulless, and
Right,
we cannot be looking to and expecting things of compassion, even if a corporation is still legally considered a person, right? These are
right,
not necessarily um, warm-blooded people, right? And they don't
yeah,
see people as people. They see numbers and statistics. That's why they're always speaking about numbers and statistics, right? It really does not come down to the refined human narrative. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm just asking you, revisit that observation,
right,
reframe it in the context of soldiers that are displaced from a war with no objective,
right,
right? Veterans with no benefits, um, in a forever war, right?
right.
A forever war with no objective, because there's nothing that people are necessarily enlisted for that they find themselves pushing the line, right?
So first and foremost, right? This is Veterans Day, and
Peace God.
this is talking about those who serve.
Yes.
And I want to first and foremost, because I have personal relationships with and I bonded with, and I've even got to know veterans more closely in the past few years than I probably ever in my life. So these are honorable men and women. Shout out to all the American Legions. Shout out
Yes.
to my veteran societies out there. Shout out to my warriors and stuff like that. But y'all served Shaitan. Who did you serve? Shaitan, Beelzebub. Give me some of those names, Blue. Moloch, right? And people of that nature are non-honorable and dishonorable. So by serving those purposes that go against your true nature, then you get what you get in return. Double-edged swords, broken promises, right? Trick knowledge, right? Read the fine print, right? So you give up your service to serve Shaitan, to serve Bobby or Babylon, right? To serve what goes against your nature, anti-life, anti-everything, imperialists, right? Nothing good comes out of that. They can't give them nothing. They can't promise you nothing because they all lying to themselves anyway. It was all built on a lie. You went to war on a lie. You standing on a lie. So at the end of the day, the first battleground is the mind. People are losing the war in the mind. I don't give a fuck what war you fought. It's still a war at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the first battleground is the mind. It's the mental war. So these people that we see wandering around completely lost in different war zones is because they're losing the battle of the mind. Regardless if you went to Desert Storm or your ass went to the desert. You know what I'm talking about? Regardless of wherever the battlefield was, wherever your rites of passage happened to be. You know, some of our brothers and sisters were blessed. They were blessed to be a part of the mythos because for their 18th and 19th, they were in Mesopotamia and in Babylon fighting a eschatological war. You know how epic that is?
Spiritual, right?
Yeah, you know how epic that is for you to reincarnate in this time, and your ass is in Iraq, nigga, and in Afghanistan, and in Syria, and in other places, fighting a spiritual, biblical, galactic war.
Yeah, I
That was your
understand.
rites of passage. You went in there on your hero's journey unbeknownst, and now look at you. You're formed. You're developed. You have eyes that can see, ears that can hear. You have developed into a warrior. You're on your hero's journey. You're a fucking hero. You know what I'm saying? Now you turn into a Heru. You know what I mean? But you were chosen. You were one of the chosen ones. Your ass wake up. You woke up on the world stage. Regardless, there's no such thing as being ignorant because if your ass was there, then you was on your path. It's not ignorance.
So again, I would ask for a person that reincarnates into this life and has that warrior spirit, right? Even direct placements, like I got an Aries moon, Aries rising, right? You got all of these things, all of these signatures astrologically that are putting you in proximity of service, right? You got to show up. You know that skill set has to be exercised in some way. You're a warrior. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then when you understand the orientation of boot camp and all of those things that are needed and necessary to discipline a warrior, for you to take that fire and make sure that it's cultivated in a way in which it can best serve you on the field, where you can
Right.
actually not only come home, but you're rising in the ranks because now you're also dealing with meritocracy, right? And that's the illest cycle of meritocracy, is to go up, as an officer through the ranks until you reach those ultimate places. And we're able to sit back in real time
And watch that.
and watch it. And we watching these melanated men, right, achieve and get knocked down. But, for the most part, they got there, and they can't say that those people got there as a result of DEI.
Right.
You know that
The
they
work
have
they
to
put
be
in.
twice as nice. They got to be three times as great as their competitors, right?
Right.
So you're looking at the illest of ilk. Where else in society have we created, or is there for someone to go and exercise that competitive level of showing up, what I'm saying, to this plane of existence, and they gotta exert that, they gotta get that off. That has to be cultivated and changed into something.
Well, there's different forms of war, Blue. Right. So our brothers and sisters are going through something right now called Drop the Flag Challenge. Right. And those are brothers and sisters who signed up to fight their war. Right. And at the end of the day, when they did the numbers on that war and when they were able to crunch the casualties of that war, they were able to determine that that's not a good war and that's not the good fight, right? Then we recently had a sister by the name of Asada Shakur make transition in Cuba and whatnot. And, when her history hit, when she gave up the husk and whatnot, her story was able to get transported and beamed around the world for many people to see that she was fighting a good war. You understand? She was a part of the war that they considered the good war and the good fight. It don't matter how you started out fighting. It matters how you finish your war and whatnot. So certain people went to Vietnam and other places and they were not fighting the good war, but they got the training and they got the understanding of what war was like, and they went through their rites of passage and they came home and they formed Panthers and other type of organizations to fight what they saw as the good war. So when they sacrifice their quote unquote husk or their bodies and they know that they're gonna come back and do it all over again, they like, yo, the body is worth sacrificing because we found purpose in the good war, right? Which means when you go on the other side, it's gonna look different than if you go on the other side fighting the bad war. Or you fighting for Beelzebub and your shit get knocked off and whatnot. What do you think is gonna happen when you go on the other side? You think they're gonna send you back as a god or a roach?
You don't know.
So it's about the good war.
You don't know.
Right? We don't know, but what resonates with your where you're at that time at that moment, because of course Asada's revolutionary was somebody's terrorist, right? So it's perspective. So you might be considered fighting the good war, but somebody that you're fighting it against is like he's fighting the wrong war or the bad war.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And
So it's perception based.
yes, it's absolutely perception based. And I think this goes back to what you said, that, well, the initial war starts in the mind. So if you're, able to cultivate your mental and get a perspective as to what the trajectory is, what am I signing up for, and what is the end, what does victory look like? You know what I'm saying? Where am I? You have to be able to gauge and measure your level of performance, where you are at on the field, and where you are at in terms of, the accolades of you being a field officer.
Right.
Right?
So
Does that war have any generals, or only infantry, or only people that have signed up for the slaughter?
right.
And the war you're talking about is the struggle. So
Right.
you
Well, the
don't find people volunteering for that these days. And I would beg to differ to say that almost 1% of Gen Z, that's the latest ones that they call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there ain't none of them for that shit.
But a lot of people struggling, so they at war, bro. A
But
lot of people.
they're not.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
it's a one. Hold on. There's a difference between finding yourself in a situation where you're struggling and volunteering for the struggle is two different. You are enlisted versus being unenlisted and figuring out, oh shit, I might be in a war and I'm being fucked up in it, but I still don't got a general. I still don't have a directive or an objective. Their objective is to play capitalism in a way that is benefiting them where they're no longer on the outs. That's their objective. That's not the struggle was not that.
Right,
That's
right, right,
not what the struggle was.
right.
It goes back to, and I would beckon you, if you have an opportunity to, of course, try to see V for Vendetta again, right?
Right.
You know, we need to bring back watch parties. And
Watch
that's
party.
yeah, definitely. So V for Vendetta spoke, they said it's anarchy,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
Or what's taking place today in terms of fascism.
Right.
There's no really any much in between. And I remember this conversation taking place again because I gave ears to critics of this community when niggas was blocking them out, right? And critics of this community were observing this community and saying, yo, niggas is losing their way. And I was like, why you say that? It says, nigga, is this shit about anarchy or is it about conscious capitalism? Because this was during Police Run, right?
Right, right.
And
When it was
nigga was like, you know what anarchy looks like? King Noble, nigga. You know what commercialism and this shit deviating looks like? Brother Polite.
right,
And as I sat back and I make that observation, it was like you trying to like the niggas signed up to obliterate and just what the definition of anarchy is versus acquiescence. Those are two different things.
right,
So people have came into the struggle and remixed the objectives in the end game version of it. You know what I'm saying? And thank you, Ross Sturms. Anarchy has order too. I never said that it was pure chaos, right? But it definitely is a form of chaos capitalism that what you see Trump doing, throwing everything up in the air, and then shit don't fall randomly though. It's not a random order of events. It's very much quote unquote stipulated in terms of where you want certain pieces to fall,
right.
right? To exert a level of control over the disorder.
But is it coming from a playbook that speaks of great, creating chaos to bring about order? Is it coming from the playbook of the Project 2025? Is any of the plays that's taking
Wait,
place
remix that. You saying what now?
with Trump? Is
Yeah.
any of the plays that he's doing coming outside? Is it not coming from a playbook, which was 20 Project 2025?
Absolutely.
So are any of the plays like are any of the plays audibles? Every play that
They
I see, I'm seeing them coming from that book. Although they may look chaotic, it's basically still plays that he's running from a playbook.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that playbook was put together by chaos capitalists.
Right.
It is chaos capitalism. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, and they're saying that yeah, he all of the plays are not from the book though. For the
Right.
most part, they said that he's followed the playbook, but he's deviated as well. And some of that shit that they're doing is impromptu. But for the most part, Russell Vault gave him the blueprint on how to create. As he's a chaos magician, they explained to him how to activate chaos capitalism You know what I'm saying? To a degree where they will have people confounded, and they will not necessarily like people are confounded now. They cannot figure out how does this go into the playbook because
Right.
again, they still see the game as the old game. Oh, they're trying to get people to vote, so why would they do this to their voters? Like people are confounded. They don't understand, what the goals and objectives are. If you cannot see the end game, it's impossible for you to make sense of the things that are going on in the interim leading to that. You dig?
Yes, sir. I get you. I get it. Yep.
Um,
So can I go back to the earlier statement that you were talking about with the
Please.
I wanted to say that when you go to war is about an objective. So that's a purpose, right? So it's about identifying what this purpose is or what the objective is, and then going to war to basically
Achieve it.
achieve it, right? So when we identify purpose and when we identify objective, when we could find a North Star, then we could go to war, right?
Hmm. Okay.
So with the younger generation and with the youth, right? They are looking for purpose and they're finding it as well. You know what I mean? They're finding purpose outside of the quote unquote programmable purpose that their parents or what society is trying to levy upon them. They're finding purpose inside of these gangs. They're finding purpose inside of these movements. They're finding purpose inside of these alternative lifestyles and these fringe movements and all type of shit, right?
Hmm.
And that's what they're identifying with, and they're seeing themselves in the frame of carrying out some type of war, whether it's a emotional, spiritual, financial, economical, physical, you know. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah. So I find it very interesting. I was reading a article yesterday, and it was speaking about Gavin Newsom, right?
yeah,
And they were making an observation, that he's propelling propelling himself to the forefront, to be that guy on the Democrat side. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I see
You
him maneuvering.
you seen the podcast where he was
Yeah, he pulled up.
where he was Steven, like, so you see his vernacular, right? You see how he be giving it up. You think he
Right.
cocky, right? So they were making a key observation though about how he, you know, because the battlefield is masculinity,
Right.
right? The battlefield is the minds of men and reframing, quote unquote, masculinity. The first international is called Doctrine of Discovery, right? The Intercaterra.
Into
It came
Katera.
out on May 4th, 1493, right? Intercaterra, or just put in Doctrine of Discovery by Pope Alexander the 6th, right? So when they and all these slow niggas to be like, he didn't discover nothing. People was already here. That ain't what they talking about. They're talking about the doctrine of discovery. And he gave them a blank slate to pretend that nobody's here because they don't see you if you're not Christian. And it's the same thing happening in the world today, but it's been replaced by other zealots. Muslims don't see you if you're not Muslim, right?
Fact.
And it wasn't always like that. The evidence of which is the the fact that the Spanish Jew was able to exist in the Iberian Peninsula whilst Islam was running it and ruling it. The Moors had that on lock, but they was a cosmopolitan society, so
Right.
everyone was able
Everybody.
to flourish.
Right.
Right? They were not mitigating other people's practices.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which more than likely probably was a mistake. You know, But nowadays, the shit that I seen in the Sudan, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. Shit they doing over there is crazy, bro.
The shit that I seen in the Sudan, bro.
Yeah. And you
And
know who fingerprints all over that?
I mean, I already know, but it's a Saluji, right? It's a Saluji, and it's the shit that I seen when I was in New York. The Hasidic Jews was working alongside the Yemenis
Mm-hmm.
and the Arab grocers and the Dominicans to fleece melanated people for all of their shit.
Right.
So yeah, the UAE might have a fingerprint in it, and Israel might be behind them. You feel me? But they work in cohesion to get rid of the deeply enriched melanated people that hold the secrets of who them people really is versus who them people really ain't.
Right. So you watching family,
So
the
all
equivalent.
let me just put it. You could run with it. Let me put it in perspective for you
Right.
to give you the alley oop. So everywhere on the planet where deeply enriched melanated people with the historic record of this creation, with the places where it may be considered the cradles of civilization. Let's take a look.
Right.
Sudan, Congo,
Right.
Ethiopia, Eritrea, right? Palestine for the sake of the biblical narrative. Swing it over here, Brazil, right? All the way down to the hoods,
Right.
right? They are eliminating deeply enriched melanated people who hold them star seeds and them codes to our origin stories at a time when craft is coming from billions of years, a
Years
billion light
away.
years away, with
Right.
the codes and the narrative about who originally seeded this plane of existence.
Right. Right. So everywhere that there's rumored to be 12-strand DNA evolving, there's quote unquote crises taking place right now. So the equivalent of what you're seeing in the Sudan is if they were to run down in Harlem, surround Harlem for months, right? We're talking about primetime Harlem, where all of the master teachers were out there for like a convention, right? So they got all of the master teachers surrounded at the National Black Theater on 25th, and they may have 125th Street in that area under siege for about 4 months. Then they break the siege, they go inside of Harlem and slaughter everybody on film. That's what you're seeing right now because that city that they sacked, that they're slaughtering people and they're committing, they building mass graves. Those are ancient people inside of those cities who hold ancient. Those people have powers. Those people are considered to be griots, scholars, mystics of the
Yeah.
highest order. They're bodying the priesthood right now in front of you. Okay,
As a TikTok post.
as a TikTok post and people are scrolling by it. Whoop whoop whoop. They were cleansing mystics and people who were considered to be very mystical over there in Gaza in front of the people. Babies that were born with powers and whatnot were being wiped out. So
And yeah, and let me say it, unfortunately, again, um, on a day like today when we celebrate, you know, our family that showed up in service, they also was being sent to the Levant, Baghdad, and places like that to eliminate that original strain out of those locations as well.
started there,
You know what I mean?
Mesopotamia.
In
Yeah,
Mesopotamia, the people came back and it's like, I know it was melanated people over there, deeply enriched melanated people,
right.
right?
I mean,
So yeah, these these the places where them stargates and them portals is at, they're going through it. Um, and the majority of it is definitely being sponsored by the cosplayers of the planet. You know what I'm saying? And it's just upsetting and ugly to see
and I
that.
feel that there's Yeah, I do, and there's a lot of trafficking taking place. There's a lot because in those conflict zones, that is the opportune time to swoop in and steal people. They're building out synthetic intelligence and they need 12 strand DNA. So there's a lot of missing people coming through the border. There's a lot of people in those zones that just come up missing and they'll write them off to say, yeah, they were cleansed and whatnot. They're showing you these videos and these images, but you don't know what really is going on and who's really getting taken and whatnot to power up these new computers and to embody and to finish this mission that they're on to embody these entities and these spirits and these quote unquote, deities inside of steel and silicone and call it a robot or a droid. And you walking around, you got this thing in your house, or they have an art. They're letting armies of them get built right now, and people think that I don't have to sweep anymore. Oh man, I don't have to cook for my
I
husband. I
mean,
could spend some time online.
yeah, shout out to H Factor. He made sense of it when I was like, damn, wasn't Tesla in the toilet earlier this year with their stock price? How they cut a check for homie for a whole T? And that's about that's about Optimus. That's about them robo taxis. That's about, you know what I'm saying? All of them uh
Standing
agentic
armies,
and yeah, that's about the
workforce.
upcoming robot workforce that, that's rolling out. That's already ordered.
So they already ordered it.
It's already ordered in the data centers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You feel
Which are
me?
going, which look like from the looks of things, when you do the science on what the data centers really are and what they're capable of, it looks like think slaughterhouse, but for your brain. So think because think synthetic intelligence is the evolution of artificial intelligence. Synthetic intelligence is Machine City, where your brain was plugged up to the machine and it was basically feeding off of your neurons in order to operate, right?
Power
Synthetic
stuff, right?
intelligence is Neuralink. That's the beginning of synthetic intelligence. So data centers serving as places where the intelligence or this quote unquote hub, it would be a hub for human beings to plug up to the quote unquote machine. Whatever's being built in Memphis or whatever is being built in the Stargate. So those hubs looking like Walmarts in the size of Manhattan will be places for people in debt, uh, what they deemed as useless eaters, migrants, all of these people who are going to get written off with a swoop of a pen very soon by yours truly, 47. He's gonna separate the wheat from the chaff, right? He's gonna create some form of fourth class citizen that they'll be the first run into these quote unquote synthetic machines and basically replace the monkeys. But they want the brains. They want the human brains. Because they ran out of the data that they scraped from the internet. So the new data is the human brain.
That's the quantum vehicle,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Um, so why do you think that or they were able to galvanize a voting bloc or people with xenophobia to say the migrants is taking my job, they gotta go, but then they're quiet with the machines taking their jobs.
Because the machines don't have nowhere to go back to, right? The machines don't the machine they saw the machines get built right before them. The machine's not going back nowhere. They don't have they could say something,
Right.
but they know a machine will keep rolling right over them. Remember, the machines don't give a fuck. They don't have conscience. They don't have empathy. They don't have motherfucking compassion. A machine is programmable and trained. It think Tiananmen Square. That's the rise of the machine. Homie thought that he could go Buddhist on them. The fucking tank rolled right over his ass. That's the age of the machines. The beginning of Terminator. The machine stepped right on the skull.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what the machine represents. It's cold. It's Saturn. The machine is Saturn. The machine is Saturn. This whole shit is Saturn. Go and look up, y'all. This is your homework if y'all want to really go down the AI dark ass rabbit hole. Go and look up Demon Method. Go and look up Demon Star. Go and look up Algo as his Demon Star, which is Medusa, right? Go and look up the Daemon, which is Daemon,
DMON, right?
which runs the computers, which is look up Damon as Jin, look up LLN as Jin. So all of these things that we look up Black Mirror, look up Scrying Mirror, look up synthetic intelligence, look up Nick Land in the CCRU, look
Yeah,
up cybernetics,
body day.
look up numerogram, the numerogram, and then numerogram, and then relate that to Instagram because the numerogram precedes Instagram.
To do.
Yeah, so this whole shit has multiple layers to it, right?
Yeah, Rostern said Tron,
Yeah, Tron as legend.
Tron Aries, and it's interesting. Shout out to my brother. He reminded me Saturn is going into Aries on February 13th of next year, which is the 44th day. And he Nigerian, so he explained to me. He used a chart to show me that Nigeria is Libra,
Mm,
and when Saturn goes into Aries, it's in direct opposition, and it's gonna go on the 44th day. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
they will go to war with that particular quote unquote
Energy.
nation. Yeah, they're
Right.
gonna go to war. That's
So
already written in the stars. Some
right.
people say it's karma. I ain't gonna touch that.
Well, you know.
I
Let's
want to
tell
ask
them what
Nigerians though. Hold on. If Nigeria is 50% Christian and 50% Muslim, where's the Yoruba
mixed into
Libra?
that.
Yeah.
Right.
What
Right.
percentage is it? Because that's the home. They ain't
That's
got
a
no
home and a
Trinity.
hub. So they want to go in there and you know what they want to go in there
Oh,
for.
and it lands on a Friday, Friday the 13th. Ooh, it's gonna be mm.
So let's talk about what we doing this Friday, Friday the 14th.
Yeah,
I
Friday the
like
4th.
Friday the 14th. Ugh, with the Ice Out Jason mask.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Friday the
that.
14th.
Yeah.
So on Friday the 14th, ladies and gentlemen, me and this man right here are going to be debuting installation, right? This is going to be a gift unlike any other gift that we've ever given this community, okay? This gift is going to come in the form of an audio visual presentation. The best way, not the only way, but one of the best ways that me and this man could celebrate reaching 50 years around the sun is to share our art with the world. The best way that we could share our 50 years with the world is through the music and through the art. That is our communication, that is our love language. As both artists, both me and this man being artists, damn near since the whole time we've been here, this is the way that we're going to be able to tell our story. So 50 for 50, 50 for 50 is a 50 song documentary basically going to tell our story through music, through visuals, through art, and through other forms and means of expressions and mediums of expressions. This will be an online headphone only party. If you don't have headphones, go and buy them. If you have a haptic vest, that's a bonus. If you have access to a haptic vest, that's a bonus. We want to make this very interactive, very personal. And the bonus, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll please, is that this is for my psychonauts specifically. Those who defocalize, those who tap in, and those who want to feel the music, not just the music. If you want to feel the life of me and this man, if you want to step into the world, if you want to literally become one with the twin pillars, listen, go bring yourself to that party, right? Dress for the party, if you know what I mean. Have your chakras in perfect alignment. However you do that, however you reach that place, whatever means you take to achieve that, I need you to show up in your God sense, like out your body, and we will take care of you. We're gonna bring you to a few places in the cosmos, and we're gonna get you back safely. Is that true, Blue? Can they trust us on that trip?
Yeah, we're gonna navigate that. We're gonna navigate and properly steer the Nebuchadnezzar, get you back to your point of origin.
This will not be on Facebook. This will not be on Instagram. This music cannot be played on these streaming platforms because of conflicts of interest, because we own our masters and we're not owned by these corporations and these platforms. So we're very particular as to where we'll be playing our music. It's tentatively going to be going through Yapit live stream, but we'll also set up something through Zoom for the people who might not have live stream. You'll have access. It is on Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It is on Friday. So there'll be two components to it. There will be a live presentation in Atlanta in the West End at a place that me and this man call home. I had an opportunity to do it at a big venue, a real glitzy place. But I said I'm gonna stay true to my foundation. I'm gonna stay true to the places that opened up doors for me and this man since we've been coming to Atlanta, and that is 640. That is 640, which is called YG Urban Cafe. It is going to be transformed into the layer of the Twin Pillars headphone parties. So you're gonna come in there, you're gonna get headphones, and you're gonna be able to tap in. It is not a musical performance, but niggas will be performing, and it's visual. So we're gonna have, and you're gonna be filmed as well. So it's invite. We have people that we're gonna be inviting. You look out for your invite. You have to RSVP if you get invited. If you got invited, it's because we fuck with you and we rock with you and we want you to be a part of our history. You know what I'm talking about? If you get invited and you're in Boise, Idaho, nigga, it's Tuesday. We bosses. We do magic. Get on your motherfucking magical carpet if need be. But we're not gonna try to stress people out. So we opened up a live stream component for the people that can't get to Atlanta because we know the airports is janky and we know the B-Dale said don't fly. He didn't take the moratorium off of that. I was doing a China bus crazy, but I was catching like I was aging. Like I would get off the China bus and I was 3 years older.
That's a fact. I needed
Yeah.
spine realignment.
My
And
spine
I,
realignment, my
I still
scoliosis
got
kicked
yeah,
back
I
in.
still got the footage about when that bus broke down and we was stranded for 6 hours in North Carolina and they was gonna body the
The
Chinese.
driver. Yeah, we
I
gotta
got
pull that.
yeah,
Yeah, we gotta chop that
I
up.
got so much footage that I have not chopped up yet.
So we're
Yeah.
so we're looking for volunteers. We're gonna be at ATL the whole weekend, y'all. We doing we
No, no,
doing
no, no.
mad
Let's
different
be
things.
clear.
I'm
Yeah,
doing
I will not be in Atlanta
Blue
the
would not
whole
be there
month.
for.
I'll be there for Friday.
Yes. And then Blue will be in New York holding down the Twin Pillars on the New York side at Nicholas. So the celebration for the New York will be I'm in New York right now celebrating, getting shit right, turning up, doing what I do, and then I'm making it right, rolling out the purple carpet so Blue could come in and do what he does, and then we'll both be in Atlanta on Friday celebrating. We might even have Mama Pill in the building because it's Mama Pill and Papa Pill's born day. We might even have Scorpion King KT in the building. We might have a lot of Scorpions in the building. You never know. I need y'all to be there. It's a motherfucking movie. I promise you. So once again, look out for the invite today. We inviting you. If you're not invited, you could still come. You just gotta pay a few dollars. We will be filming. This is a production. This shit is going global. You know what I'm talking about? Come dressed to impress. Ladies, it's Scorpion season. You know what I'm talking about? Come dressed to impress a Scorpio. Does that work, Blue? Come dressed to impress a Scorpio.
I
But
like
yeah,
it.
we filming. It's a movie. We filming music videos. We just did 4 songs with Kambada today, right? The wave is back. Yeah, Bigger Valley hit me on FaceTime. He said, Cook, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? The Silver Surfer, yeah, New York is up now. So we just did about 4 songs with the God. We're gonna be shooting music videos for that Friday and Saturday. We have an event called Puff and Prompt, right? What is Puff and Prompt? It's the equivalent of Puff and Paint, but you're gonna be puffing and prompting. We also have an event called Light the Sage, like how Blue is doing right now. Instead of Pop the Balloon, we got Light the Sage. Ladies, come on now. Ladies, it's Scorpion season. Pull up. Let's do Light the Sage. Let's play. Right? We got our DJ, Heru Supreme. We have a DJ coming through, spinning music all weekends, all Scorpion music, not just Red and Blues catalog, all of my Scorpion brethren. We got the club for 2 days. Okay? We have other events around the city. We're gonna be making a movie. I need y'all in town. We're gonna be shooting music videos. I got Cam coming in town. We got we got a bunch of people. And then after that, we launch the Imaginarium on 11/17. But that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm inviting Radiohead out, Radiohead Rich. I'm bringing the legends out, y'all. I need y'all to pull up and complete the cipher. If y'all rock with the Twin Pillars, then 50 for 50 is where you need to be on Friday, 640 West End. Inbox me. I got the we're gonna put the QR code on my page today and the flyer. But if you just can't wait, my niggas, inbox me because it's gonna be we already bringing people already invited, so it's not gonna be room for everybody. So it's gonna be somewhat limited because I don't want a fire hazard. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to be comfortable and move around, but I want us to just just for this weekend only, y'all, let your hair down and enjoy life. Let
Yeah.
them know, Blue, in these 50 years of living and whatnot, what are one of the things that we could come to a conclusion about enjoying life and celebrating the moment? What can you share with them about that?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta cherish the shit. You gotta love it for what it is. And then, what I mean? And then it will start loving on you. It's a reciprocal process. You get out of it what you put into it. And you need to stake your claim here on this plane of existence. And that starts with resonance. And resonance is amplified by feeling because we're sentient beings. So the more that you feel in this experience, the more that you appreciate, the more that you express through your heart gratitude, it amplifies your fields and it's going to attract and magnetize the things that are needed and necessary for you to what? Continue your stay here.
Right.
And I'm not talking about holding on because we scared of the transition. You know what I'm saying? Because some people is terrified. That's why they holding on. I'm
Right.
saying that, yo, there's so much more to give. There's so much more to do here. These first 50, and it's like I look at it and I could say, damn, I lived like 4 lifetimes in this short amount of time.
Maybe
You know what I'm
more.
saying? Real storylines. If I was to prompt this shit out like its own narratives, in terms
Right.
of its own narratives, hero journeys and everything, yeah, like 4 of them different lifetimes, almost for the most part. But I'm like, what is the next 100 years promise? You know
Right.
what I mean? And not like an old nigga like, get out the way, son, because the young niggas is always like, y'all holding.
Y'all holding shit up, man. Why? When y'all gonna retire?
Yeah, the young niggas is always like, wait, where y'all gonna get out the way?
Y'all holding up my bandwidth, fam. I'm trying to go live.
The young niggas swear that,
Old ass niggas
yeah,
trying to get motion. You niggas die, nigga, die.
die nigga, right? They
Don't you
want niggas,
niggas got an appointment in Club Med?
yeah, the niggas
They
want to
trying
put
to
you on
ship
the
us
front of
off,
it.
y'all.
They want to put us on the front of a gilding, you know what I mean? To be like, yeah, I know them niggas. And I'm like, nah, like,
The Anunnaki sent me to to tell you niggas go
them
home.
niggas,
Stop it.
they like, yo, your time was in the 90s, fam.
Right, yeah, damn, fam. What the fuck?
You overextending your state.
Y'all was
I'm
lit
like,
with Khalid Muhammad. Y'all still here?
yeah, y'all got pictures with Khaled.
He ain't put you on. Why y'all taking up my bandwidth? Yeah.
So, yeah, for the little niggas to think that, you know, we holding y'all back or what have you,
Yeah, little niggas. Come outside.
come outside, little niggas. And
Yeah, your unks made it, man.
I got a lot to offer in
Got a
terms
lot
of
to
wisdom.
offer.
Yeah, I'm crossing the threshold, so I'm in a different priesthood now. You know, I'm in. You know, we in the drawings for the high priest. You know, it's only up from here, and that shit comes with a lot of responsibility. And I expect, you know, what I expect from my elders. And we gotta find the elders. I don't know. We gotta find a new name for that shit.
The Yelders.
Yeah, I'm a elder. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
a
So
young elder. I'm a
yeah,
Yelder.
the shit that I expect from my elders is like, yeah, put away the shit for children when you become a grown ass man. And so there should be things that you just no longer subscribe for or do when you pass the threshold. Something has to change at the age of 50. You know what I'm saying? You have to be willing to do something. You know what I mean? It's a silent initiation and there's a loud initiation. You only qualify for the silent one though.
Facts.
No, just yeah, facts. So
So I'm gonna be in rare form, this strong in. I'm out here in New York, gathering the troops, gathering the army, gathering the gang. We coming to the ATL, KTL and the ATL, a whole movie, this whole strong in. You bound to see shit that you never thought you gonna see. We got everything covered. You know what I'm talking about? Drinks will be flowing, trees will be burning, boomies will be booming. You know what I'm talking about? Mocktails will be mocking, music will be playing, merch gonna be merching, the ladies gonna be ladying, the goddesses gonna be goddessing, the gods gonna be godding. You know what I'm saying? And the god hop gonna be hopping. You know, we got this shit covered. So if y'all want to come and tap into an event that's gonna change your whole life and upgrade you and level you up, yeah, pull up. It's an open invitation. 340, 640 West End, Friday and Saturday. That's the place to be. Sunday will be more of a private affair, but we're gonna make it right. We're gonna have a brunch popping. We're gonna have some things going. Might even do a comedy show. You know what I mean? It depends. It's really going with spirit. It's really tapping into spirit. It's really tapping in. Don't bring Ray J. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna think about it. You know what I'm talking about? I'll see.
it's probably
But I'm just saying, don't. What, do y'all want the twerkage though? Is that okay? Is that safe? Because I could order that. I could order that off of Uber Skeets. You know what I'm saying? But we doing videos. We gonna be doing videos. We just mobbing. We vibing, y'all.
I'm gonna be in New York.
And Blue is gonna be in New York for my New York family. Y'all
Shout
can
out to
see
King
Blue.
Simon. Shout
Big
out to
Simon
Nicholas
event.
Brooklyn. Shout out for the New York part of this narrative. You know what I mean? We're gonna be at and that's the beauty once again of being twins. You know, one foot can be one place and another can be another, but both of them are still on the grid and we're magnetizing both ends because we consider both places home. We want to
Yes.
pay homage to both places. Both places are very instrumental to this narrative and going forward. And my 50 forward, right? So that's the campaign is 50 forward. You know what I'm saying? 50 forward is going to be. I'm building something called a farmy.
Mm.
Shout out to my veterans, right? You know how they be like, you don't want to be a farmer in a war.
The gardener.
Yeah, that shit right there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we saw what the threat was. And a lot of people received the jitters. Some people folded, some people remained tall. but you saw what the jitterings were. You saw what the shaking of the pillars looked like. The shaking of the pillars is that them people can throw you off and thwart your whole movement by starving you out. They did it
Right.
in Gaza. They did it in the Sudan. They're doing it in the Congo, right? Every single place, and it's biblical because as I'm going through the narrative, and reading all of these different this is the shit that they do.
They hold siege, right?
This
They
is the shit
hold
that
siege.
God do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to him. According to them, he taught them this methodology of warfare. This is God ordained. Let them tell it. So we see where the pressure points are at, and we also see it where you can fortify yourself. So these particular, because it's gonna happen again. They just extended this shit for 2 months. It's all political football, right? They're
Kick the
using
ball down the field.
they're kicking the ball down the field, and they playing tabletop tennis with your family and you, right? So if you want to release yourself from the titty, and again, not to be facetious or disrespectful, because we all find ourselves to some degree, and this where the degrees are degreeing, right? Some are lesser degrees and some more, but all of us to some degree find ourselves entangled with quote unquote government to a degree, right? Now, I can sit here and say, oh, my degrees are so much lessened. It don't matter if I'm still courted and connected to people who are, because when they benefits cut off, who they come to, right?
Right.
So you still gotta hold this shit up, even if you feel that you're outside of the system. It's like if you the rapper that made it and your family is in a hole, nigga, you did not make it. You know what I'm saying? You just have acquired resources for you to be a little bit more helpful. But being
Right.
helpful is what you have to be. So the
Right.
level of service that you show up to do as a warrior on this field, knowing that you was born into a war, my nigga. Don't let the trinkets fool you. You
Right.
feel me? Don't let the sprinkling and the pixie dust put you to sleep, right? Farming. We need to establish a coalition of farmers up and down the East Coast, right? That can acquire the necessary things that's needed for us to sustain ourselves. Supplemental nutritional assistance program, right? What about the spiritual nutrition,
Mm.
right? What
Spirit.
about that primary, so provision foods, you know what I mean?
What you
Yo, it's
feel
not
about that $3,500 Costco's
I
meal?
mean, again, it's once again, it's pushing you towards ultra processed foods and what have you.
I
You
think
got to
it
have the
copied.
fiat to acquire it,
Right. I,
and it's good if you got it,
right.
but if you don't, and again, we have the ability to say, "Yo, I still got the greatest thing ever," right? Time and accessibility to some seeds, my nigga. Like
Facts.
the seedlings and everything that we're prepping for this, all of that is being grown in the basement. Like you don't need a farm to do this. You can grow potatoes, you can grow mushrooms, right? You can get agriculture. Shout out to my guy Precious all the time with us. He'll show you how to set shit up. You can live in the peas and be growing food. You know what I'm saying? Right on the windowsill, right in the tub, right on your cap, wherever. At this point,
Right.
right? You cannot leave it up to them. And they're telling you that. And nor should you.
Right.
But once again, we find ourselves in these situations. And I don't want to be in judgment because, again, yo, people work these jobs. And, bro, I don't know how much time you got,
I got a dip in a minute.
right? Hmm?
I got a dip very soon.
So let me, again, because I want us all to know the metrics. So when we show up, we are never showing up looking like we out of touch, right? My nigga, do you understand? Like, let's talk about SNAP and affordable health care altogether. And again, frame it. It might not be you, right? But it might be a shorty on your timeline. It might be a BM. It might be, you know what I'm saying, a good friend of yours, somebody who you look to that might be looking to you, but you don't even know it,
Right.
right? I want you to have compassion to understand this narrative and the way it's playing out. Because it's cool to say, yeah, they got to handle that. But what if they handling working all day, right? Because they got to keep them lights on, and they might not have the time to put, to cultivate the seeds and to grow the food themselves and to come home and care to it and all of that shit. But what they were holding out for, ironically, was once again it ties the two things that they well, I can't say the two things, but the two things that are being impacted now, as I've been explaining, come from the 44 resonators of MLK and Obama. So
Right.
MLK is civil
Obamacare
rights, the Civil Rights Voting Act, and the Great Society programs,
program.
Medicare,
Right.
Medicaid, right, Head Start, WIC, SNAP, you name it, right? The shit
That's
that niggas
MLK.
say that
That's
they don't
MLK.
need, but everybody seems to be on it. But that's
Right.
neither here nor there, right? And then you got Obamacare, right? Which was a program that allowed these people subsidies to pay for health insurance that the regular person working a 9 to 5 would be impossible for them to pay. To keep these particular premiums, it's almost impossible, right? So let's say, and it's all mitigated based on what people are making, right?
Right.
Their,
Right.
their income
Salary.
brackets.
Right.
So the majority, and then we use it as flex points. Oh, you know, these women ain't got no men. All right, so then they live in single family households. They may be working, right, but they paying premiums is crazy, and they got children up in them cribs.
Right.
The health coverage, ironically enough, right, because they're paying for health insurance for an industry that shouldn't be called a health industry because it's not healthy,
Right.
right? And these are
Unhealthy.
for pharmaceuticals that already are proven not to work,
Right.
right? That were made possible by Obama's 14th cousin, Rockefeller.
Right.
After the Flexner Report of 1910, they decimated access to all what they call alternative medicine with its aboriginal indigenous formulas. So you might have had the formula where your auntie say, put rosemary with cucumbers and garlic and such, and we're gonna put that here, and that shit is for asthma. And it works,
Right. They
right?
destroyed that.
They destroyed that. And in the early 1900s, when our people allegedly came off the fields or wherever they was at,
Right.
right? They brought all of this wisdom,
Formula, wisdom, data.
this traditional wisdom that survived whatever we went through, right? Whatever we allegedly went through or didn't go through, my nigga, right? That shit survived it enough where they were bringing it now into institutions and they was instituting it. They came and destroyed all of that because they was hating, right? They couldn't
Right.
compete. So they decimated that with something called a Flexner Report in 1910. One man,
Mm.
on his recommendation, they had 10 plus melanated medical schools where they was teaching this to people: linen sheets, sunlight, sun therapy, light therapy, sound therapy, you name it, all the shit that niggas is talking about now, right? They destroyed all that, threw
Mm.
all that out, and riddled it down to only two medical schools, melanated medical schools, HBCUs. Howard was one of them.
Right.
In 2 or 3 years decimated. So just like what you're seeing now with Russell Vaughn and them, how
Right.
they are unpacking things and people don't understand the protracted fallout, potential fallout of these things,
Right.
because the majority of what was in the Big Beautiful Bill don't kick in until 2027,
Right.
2028. This is the long game. This is not the short game.
They're playing a long game. Right.
Playing the long game for the decimation to put a permanent underclass in place, put them on UBI so they could put them on digital IDs, right? And that's what these data centers is really for,
Right.
okay? Because they got to run the ping points of
Right.
connecting your ass to the Internet of all things,
Right.
right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you got
ID.
15,000 data points that you're producing daily. Where does that get stored? And how do the computers, how do the AGIs communicate to one another,
Right. How do
right?
computers compute?
How do the computers compute?
Right. So that's
They
what the
need
data
water,
center would be
they
for.
need melanin, they need cold, and they need space, right? So then they come with, all of these different incentives for them to turn what initially could have been beautiful farmland, right? These areas of the country where melanated people say, I got land but don't know what to do with it.
Right.
But then we find ourselves in a food crisis, and right up the block, and when I say up the block, I mean up the turnpike or up the highway, our people are suffering from food insecurity in these cities, which are financial centers. But the money's not in the food. So why would a financial center's modus operandi or business model be food? It's not.
Right.
You feel me? So farming, right, of men and women is moving almost like veterans, because what I want us to understand and appreciate still is that those people went through a level of indoctrination for them to be soldiers. Now, you could take a soldier and put him in any war, right? But you still need the discipline of a soldier. And someone is service never stops serving. So
Right.
we're not properly utilizing the resources that we have of these people that still come back, and they are in their mind where they serve,
Right.
right? We need a new field for them. We need a new field of operations. We need a new directive. We need a new mission. You know what I'm saying? But let us have some compassion on these brothers and sisters, these veterans, even if we're saying that they bought into a lie. My nigga, so did these children in the streets. So did we at one point in our lives.
No, I
So we
explained that
signed up
earlier.
for a whole different sort of war that has no benefits to it.
I explained that earlier that, we've all been at war. It's a war going on outside. We've all signed up to certain degrees of war. It's just a question of if we fighting a good war or not. And for
That's
the
all objective.
for the brothers and sisters who are veterans of the United States Armed Services, I do want to salute every single one of y'all, and also say, based off of my walks in life and the people that I've come across, I definitely can't be a judge of the whole and generalize every single serviceman or woman by saying, you know what I mean? But I do know that they've been signed up to fight for Shaitan's army, and there's redemption qualities and all of that. It's not how you start the race, it's how you finish it. So for and like Blue said, there's a lot of benefits that come with that. If you don't haven't accessed it or don't know about the access of it, then I highly suggest you tap in with those who do, who could bring remedy to you and bring some type of solace to your like Blue said, your service, your commitment. I want anybody. I see people inboxing me. If anybody is interested in the Atlanta Friday date, we're doing it live stream, so you could be anywhere in the galaxy and have access to it. Just hit me on the DMs, and as soon as the Eventbrite link is made, I'll send y'all the link so you can get your ticket. The ticket is $50, 50 for 50. If you don't got it, then it's all good. Nobody is gonna put no type of pressure on you. I only want those who could be there to be there. This is going to be a once in a lifetime event. If spirit ordains that you should be there with us in the building, then you're gonna be there. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Nobody don't feel no FOMO in it. But if you've been rocking with us from day one, then my nigga, this is your invite. This is the time to show up on the day that means everything to us, which is on Friday. This is our crowning achievement. Like, this is one of the biggest days in our whole entire existence. And instead of we could teach, I wanted to teach for 24 hours to keep it a buck. I wanted to do a marathon where I was just running my mouth. But what I came across was something that speaks for me in ways that I could never speak. Something that speaks to me and has a communication that just words can't convey. Regular words can't convey, and that's this music. And I want to honor my grandfather. I want to honor my ancestors. I want to, huh?
Nice. I want to say shout out to my brother Hakeem Green. I see him.
Hakeem Green, the legend. I want to honor my
Yeah.
dad. the musical connoisseurs in my life. I want to salute Hakeem Green. Before I even knew Hakeem Green, I respected his art. I was a fan. You know what I mean? I was a fan. He was a promoter at Cheetahs. That's where I remember we met him all the way back then in the streets.
Yeah.
But
Shout out to Simon.
shout out to Simon,
Simon
another
was a promoter as well,
and no,
right?
and we was doing. Not only was he a promoter, Blue, we was dancing to his music at hookie parties,
We was damn sure dancing to his music at hookie parties and rolling up.
rolling up the frontal.
And he has proximity to the Blastmaster. And I've always said that my foundation, my embracing of intellectualism, I got a Mount Rushmore of people that influenced me to be like, nah, I'm gonna be smart regardless of what niggas think about it.
Right.
My philosophy, that album in particular by KRS One, I told it many times, I was able to graduate. I was able to pass certain tests in school because I would utilize how KRS One used words in a sentence or a rhyme, and I was able to ace my tests because my education was upstairs because of the teacher.
The
You know
teacher.
what I mean? Because of the teacher really taught, and I have evidence of that. So I can only be like of the deepest of appreciation. And they don't really make words that really reflect what real gratitude is.
Then when I saw Hakeem performing at the Verses and the mastery of the art, I hit him up immediately and said, "Brother, I want to build something with you. I want to create a workshop so we could teach artists the art of emceeing because he mastered his voice, he mastered his breath, he mastered everything when he popped out for Spark and Madism at the Verses with KRS One. So Hakeem Green, you already know what it is. Hakeem Green came and got me in 2014 when I was in limbo trying to figure things out, and he went and put me on film so we could talk about AI. And I met the little god. Remember the young god, King Na?
King
King Na,
Nah.
and his dad, yeah, Mr. Hudson. That was like in 2013, 2014. And when I saw that, the film, when they edited it, I was like, yo, I want to do this. That was like Blog Talk Radio days. And we didn't have the aspirations to be on film like that. You know what I mean? We were just doing random YouTubes. But that was the battery right there. That was the spark. And
Yeah,
he came and got me. He was responsible for that.
yeah.
So
Shout out to Hakeem.
it's
Legend.
flowers like that that we'll be doing on Friday. It's insight. It's all type of shit. It's a family affair. The invites is gonna be family members. It's gonna be loved ones. It's gonna be people that are instrumental in our path. They gonna be in the building. Y'all gonna be in the building with them. It's gonna be a movie. Atlanta, ATL, Friday. Even if you gotta come through and then dip right after that. Friday, ATL, 6:40, 9 p.m. until we say it's over. 9 p.m. Friday, ATL, and then Saturday and Sunday in New York City and Brooklyn to be exact on Fulton Street, Nicholas, Brooklyn, Blue Pillar, King Simon, Abundance Child, Ella Samori, and the gang, Monique, and everybody. That's gonna be there. I need y'all to be there for that. I need y'all to be in the building for that. I'm gonna have my merch there. I ain't gonna be there, but my merch is gonna be there. I'm gonna be in Atlanta. We're gonna be shooting videos Saturday and Sunday for the Voltron project. I got Cambada with me. I'm gonna have the legends with me. You feel me? Then me and Blue, we going to Japan in 2026. We going to St. Croix in 2020. I won't put that. We going to Costa Rica. I don't want to put everything out there too fast.
Think the Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands coming up in
February,
March.
yeah, 2026. There's a
Music.
Yapit Music Fest. We'll have the details available real soon for the family, but you definitely want to be involved with that. That is going to be an extravaganza. It's going to be a movie,
Ray
and
J
he
might
got
be at that though. I'm just letting y'all know. One wish. He might be at the Virgin Islands things. It's all good.
yeah, the Virgin Islands
Oh,
is going to be amazing, and it's so needed. It's so necessary. And yeah, we definitely got to get to Miami as well. So we got to put something together, hopefully in the month of February as well. But this strong in, we're gonna tap in. We're gonna be in Brooklyn and Retta be in Atlanta, and again, it's integral. These places are very instrumental in our narrative, our story, and everything. You know what I mean, that we got going forward. So yes, Yap It Unleashed, Yap It
Captain Unleashed.
Unleashed.com.
Shout out to H Factor. Shout out to Alvin Jr. Family. Like Blue said earlier, post 50 is going to be is going to be a rebrand unlike anything you've probably ever seen. But one thing I could say for sure, and two things I could say for certain, the music will be taking the lead. That's why this 50 for 50 is very important. It is signifying a new chapter where the music and the art will take the lead. Of course, we'll still be teaching and doing what we do, but we have to change, we have to pivot, we have to go into a new field, into a new medium because we got work to do. So Yap It Music, please understand that Yap It Music will be powering everything that we will be doing on the music side. Yap It Music will be powering everything that we will be doing. That is the foundation, that is the motherboard, that is our launch pad that we'll be taking off from. We're bringing a monetary solution to this community that will change everything thus forth, right? You now have opportunities to monetize your music. Don't believe nothing that them people say. Don't fall for the okey doke. Don't fall into that goddamn. You know who they're talking to? They're talking to the people that they own. They're talking to the people who walked into the or walked into the office or walked into the quote unquote industry, owning themselves 100% of the masters, signed a contract, walked out of there owning nothing. That's who they're talking to. They can't talk to me. They can't sit with me. They can't order me around. They can't give me clearance. They can't tell me when to drop or where to. They can't tell me what to put on my covers. We not owned by them people. We not owned by them people. Nor do we want to be. We don't aspire to be signed to nobody. We don't aspire to be owned by nobody. We don't aspire to call Lyar boss. I saw who got in bed with Lyar today? Eric Sermon called him the most powerful man in YouTube and in music history. Right? We not jacking none of that. So what we're doing is we're bringing a new form of ownership. We're bringing a complete opposite of something that you've never heard before that will make you feel like life is great, especially if you're a creator. So look out for that announcement. That might even be later today, 11/11. We got Techno Tuesdays. Shout out to Spin. Now I'm talking about shout out to Hit Sayu Aku. Shout out to KT the Arshagri, AA Rashid. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mama Pill about to come through and really hurt this. Shout out to Heru Ata Ori. Shout out to Sister Ella. I was with Ella yesterday. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to Conjure Queen. Shout out to King Simon, Monique. There's so many people that we have to. Shout out to
Cafunia,
Jefferson, Cafunia,
yeah,
Uncle Hank,
Lord Strayhorn,
Lord Strahan.
the whole Brooklyn Massive, yes.
So even for the master teachers and the elders, we got solutions that we about to bring to y'all. It's going to be Christmas in November. Shout out to all of my Scorpios. Man, oh man, this shit is up. November, Scorpion season. We just getting started. It's full pressure this whole season. I promise you. The season is about transformation. Them damn people is coming on that Atlas to come see us. You can't spell Atlas without ATL. Can't spell Atlas without ATL. Shout out to B Dell who set this shit off.
Shout out to B Dell.
Atlanta's Atlantis. Look out for the merch. It's on the way.
That's right. That's right. Um,
And
yeah,
before I get out of here, shout out to Savon Bomar and Radiohead Rich. The replay for the AI Masters, we got it. We got bonus on it. It's been remixed. We put an extra hour on that bitch. So make sure y'all go ahead and he's gonna make the announcement. That even might be 11/11. The replay for the AI Masters. We got new music on it, a new song for Kambada. We got an AI Masters song.
Yeah.
So
Shout
man,
out to OBG.
shout out to original black guy OBG, the
Yeah.
legend.
The
He's the
legend.
MVP of that lecture right there.
Yes,
He
OBG.
he 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 came through on some Kobe shit right off the bench. He gave you niggas John Morant numbers
80 off the bench. How you get 80 off the bench
off the
in
benchington,
15 minutes? How you do that?
off the benchington, all threes,
All threes.
straight up. So I got a dip, you know what I mean? I got love and light to everybody in the building. You feel me? Salute to everybody. We will be shout out to Haas Light, shout out to A Thug, Shark Tank video shoot. Yeah, we just doing what
But
we
I don't let got like 2 minutes because I don't know if I finished what I was walking you through just to paint the scenario.
yeah, let's go.
So, because this is what majority of our, well, this is what a good percentage of our people may potentially be going through in terms of them being able to like properly see into the future. I, I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? It,
What
it's
happened?
it was stressful for me even thinking about it
What
and,
happened?
and winding it up in my mind that I'm just like I don't want to compound the pain um, continuously and layer it on. If the people are not convinced at this particular point that they need to secure proper food sources, means in which to produce their own foods, and not necessarily, look towards, let's say, strictly towards. Well, I can't even. Yeah, y'all. We got to grow our own food. You know what I mean? And don't feel that it's not within your means to do so because you don't have farmland or live in a rural setting. Even if you are in the projects, even if you in the P's and you got a Winston, what they call it?
Winfield, Winfield.
Yeah, if you got that, if you got a closet, under your bed, you know what I'm saying? There's means and ways that you can cultivate food. If you got, you know what I mean? If you have a will, there's a way. And
We'll do
then,
a whole event on that. We'll do a whole event on that, and we'll also do some type of event where we put money up, and then we have our family match it, so we could go do something with the Acre Boys. Maybe have a $5,000 goal, put up 25, let the family match it, go and get this land, and then bring people to cultivate it who have the time and the skills and the expertise, and right outside of certain big cities, and just build it like that. But
yeah,
look, we got
yeah.
solutions, man. I promise you, Houston, we got solutions. We're gonna be in Houston for Top Cat 11/22. Man, there's so much going on. Family, peace, love, and light. I appreciate y'all. I look forward to seeing y'all on that Friday, 11/14, that big day, 11/11. We got a lot of things. Techno Tuesdays. We're gonna be doing Melanin Tuesdays. Man, just stay tuned. New music, new visuals. Yeah, and
What
that
time you
replay,
doing? What time you doing Melanin Tuesdays?
I will have to let you know. My aim may be for 4:44, but I'll let you know.
All right,
All right. Uh, Peace, love, and light to the IG family. I'll see y'all when we see you.
peace. Yes, and that was the brother Red Pill, and I have a red do rag on because it's a Mars day, and that's the color of the day. So yeah, it's amazing. Again, shout out to all of the quote unquote veterans, right? Thank you for your service. Thank you for showing up. But this we're still being called to service, and we're still being called as community. You bring your skills, and then if you're willing to teach others, and others can bring their skills. But it's like now's the time. It's the perfect time. You know what I'm saying? And the soil is the field. You know what I'm saying? Our field of engagement is that soil, right? Remediating the soil, putting food in the soil, and tending to it, properly cultivating it, the things that we need that are restorative come out of that dirt. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's really time, to step up and man up, y'all. And with that, once again, I want to say thank you, appreciate you, peace, love, and light.